we go.
Yeah.
I'm pressing start, David, but you're playing.
You can go first, man.
Alright.
New missions. More mom. Good. Great. Got override the previous house.
Yeah, we don't have anything. I've never touched this game.
Really?
Great. Welcome, no one. Well, I guess you're the only one subscribed.
Yeah, I guess that is technically true.
So the very first new political gaming channel.
Welcome to the Pondering Lodge. This is our first video coming in with me, David, and Diego, my co-host.
Hello.
We are going to be playing Dishonored today. This will be the first time I ever played this game.
Corvo, if only there was someone else I
We're
trusted
going
to
be
send,
discussing
so that you could remain
several
near.
topics in current
But there
events,
is no
partially
one else.
political. We'll be giving
And the
some
spy
historical
master was right
context
to
some of it as
insist
well.
that I send you.
And we are not, I repeat, we are not
The plague has taken so many, and we
Journalists
must
or
find a
any
cure.
associated with
Melania.
any political side.
My heart is at peace.
At least that. I don't know if you're gonna have anything else.
We are.
Emily
Yeah,
and I will
yeah,
count the
that's
days
true.
until you
We
return.
are also not qualified
Hurry home.
discussing any of this
Bring
shit.
good news.
So, yeah. Take our opinions with a grain of salt if you wish. If you wish to believe it, go right ahead. If you don't, that's good.
The biggest thing, though, that I'm hoping that we'll get out of this, though, is more of, if based on our. So the way we're gonna work is that we're gonna basically bring up a topic. We're gonna show a couple articles and talk about the articles, and then at the end we're gonna give our actual views on said articles. But then with our views, though, what we're trying to get you to do, or get people to do, is to look for it themselves. If they don't believe us, go ahead, question it, look it up, do your research, actually learn.
Corvo has news for the Empress.
Because at the end, knowledge,
A long way to bring
That-
bad news.
that's power.
The sailors say there's a curse on us. Black magic.
For all we know, there's a cure for
Yeah.
the plague by now.
Maybe. We live in
So,
strange
Diego,
times.
what is going to be our first
Sending the Empress's
topic?
bodyguard away from
I'm
people
glad
like
you
us.
asked.
That's unusual.
Ask.
This was important.
Ask.
We need help with the rat plague.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like I said it weirdly.
You'll be fine.
Anyways, our very first ever headline has to deal with the very infamous new president of ours here in the U.S., Mr. Donald J. Trump.
No, yeah.
I can add those later, you don't actually have to make them now.
Hey man, it all works the same way.
No, I think it doesn't work better. Anyways, so we're not talking about any of the Russia stuff because that's just a clusterfuck of convoluted things as to, and really a bunch of things keep happening, and we just don't necessarily know where it's leading. A lot of people say it might be leading to its end, but who knows? Anyways, Trump recently tweeted that he is banning transgenders from being part of the military due to, quote, medical cost and disruption.
Yes.
But there's currently over 15,000 trans people in the U.S. military alone.
Don't do anything crazy.
And a lot of them are definitely saying, if you truly want us to leave, you can force us out because we're willing to fight for our country. Now, the funniest thing, though, is that everyone from the U.S. military is saying that they have heard of nothing from the actual, from Trump or anything, that they are actually banning transgenders from actually being in the military. So far, it's literally just a tweet. So we're very confused. Oh, be a dick.
What?
Be a dick in the game. I don't know. Eventually, I'm guessing based off the options you have, eventually you can choose to be a dick. I've never played this either, but let's just hope that that's the option.
Oh, damn it.
Lord Protector.
What is all
Stop
this?
moving, Campbell. And you, Corvo, welcome back.
But yes, so yeah, so that's the current topic. It's more of well, I guess the big thing is more of should transgenders be in the military? And I guess David, if you have anything on that, go for it.
I have no. I don't really care. To be honest with you, if they want to fight, that's their prerogative.
I'll hide my eyes and count.
I
At
don't
the end of the
really care.
countdown,
At the
try
end of
and
the day,
fight.
if they wish to join the U.S. military, pick up an arm, or become a pencil pusher in that regard, they're all the more power to them. I don't see any reason why they should be excluded because of their
One,
perceived
two,
gender, or
3, 4.
what we may think or say of them, or what hiding behind a tree trying to find the book. Okay, I don't really care as far as them joining the military, as far as them being once a man or once a woman. At the end of the day, they're still in the military. They're still going to fight for the United States of America, and they're still going to die for the United States of America in some cases. As far as
you gotta treat David.
I know. I'm supposed to.
Okay, you win.
I don't know where
We
she
should
went.
go now.
Oh, and
To you
she-
too.
You turn on the
While you were gone, Mother seemed very sad.
mode. I'll probably
I
do
think she
that.
missed you.
But yeah, if I don't see I don't see what would be the purpose in excluding certain people from the military just because of their just because of what gender they identify as. In my opinion, it doesn't particularly matter.
Now, so an article from the Washington Post by Caitlin Burns on July 28th, 2017. That is today at 6 a.m. Good lord.
Later, will you give me more climbing lessons?
Anyways,
Someday I'm going to climb up to the
she was
rooftop.
definitely showing some information that shows that in some estimates that the U.S. military is actually the single largest employer of transgender people on the planet. So if that means if Trump is actually going to go through with this and continue and actually push for it, that means that there's going to be over 15,000 people without a job currently, and a lot of it actually has shown that trans people are twice as likely than the general population to serve their country. And the biggest thing that I have seen from, I guess, the counter argument is always that, well, there's a lot of mental issues, and being trans is actually seen as a mental, what is it?
Good to have you back, sir.
It's seen as
A mental disability.
it's seen as a mental disability, and
it's good news,
basically
sir.
anyone with a mental disability is not allowed to be a part of the military. So they're saying that that this isn't
It's been good
an
traveling,
experiment
Corvo.
to put them into. It's the military. These are people that are fighting for your lives, that you're defending, you're protecting. You know, you're fighting with your with same people, with other people around you, and that their lives shouldn't be at risk for just what they call an experiment.
Speak of this again.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
I don't agree at all. But
Yeah, but the biggest thing though is that it is seen as currently a mental disability, and that's their biggest argument on this, is that it is a mental disability.
I'd like to know how do you prove and disprove a mental disability in a particular person, like especially when it comes to someone.
Well, a lot of it depends on the brain, right? So
Yeah.
we look through it.
It's a fair
But even still, it's not like they're fucking crazy.
What news have you?
You know, if we have a psychopath in the military, you know, we shouldn't necessarily want these particular people who can't feel empathy in the military because they couldn't, you know, they couldn't they couldn't be allowed to what's the term? They wouldn't be
I hope that one of the other cities
able to do a mission properly if they couldn't empathize with the particular people. Like in Afghanistan or in Iraq, when we normally try to win hearts and minds. How can you win the hearts and minds of a person you can't empathize
Wait to
with?
see if the plague turns the city into a grave.
However, if you're just going straight into combat, I can see one a psychopath, a guy who can just pull the trigger and kill a person easily. That's normal.
Where are the
But
guards?
if you're
Who sent them
in the
away?
military, you're not only just a soldier. You're also, in some cases, you're a bureaucrat.
Come here.
You're a whoa. Okay.
You have a fucking sword?
That's blocking attacks.
Emily, get behind me.
Terrible.
Well, I guess to continue that, since you're busy kicking ass. So the counter argument kind of continues, and going on with a lot of it is all medical, basically. So they show a lot of information saying that the military doesn't cover the actual surgery itself, right? So if you want to get a penis, good luck. The military's not going to pay for it. But what they are going to pay for is for all the medication that you need. All the therapy that you go through and all that. And what a lot of people are saying is that at the end, that's way more costly than it is for, anything else. In the military spends way too much on that than it has on anything else. And so when you look at that information, it truly makes you wonder, at that point, should the military be covering that?
Yes.
Because it was just their side says is mainly a
What
decision.
did you do with young lady?
They want to be
Her
trans.
own bodyguard.
They should be paying for their
See
own.
you beheaded for this, Corvo.
But the military is currently paying for it, and so that's what makes it look wrong. Basically, that's why they shouldn't be on there. That's why a lot of people are agreeing with Trump's current stance on it.
That or there is, they're like trans people, one of the two. Or probably both, who knows.
Yeah. But when you see stuff like that, it truly makes you wonder if that should be the way to continue kind of pushing for it, instead of just kicking them out. If there should be a better way. I don't think we should kick them out. I think instead what we should do is that if you really have an issue with that, you should really look at what all the costs are, because there's a lot worse costs in the military than anything else. Let's see. So one of them was actually on Viagra. Yeah, the military spent way more on Viagra
Final chance, Corvo.
than
Sign
anything,
the confession.
than
Let me give you the rights to
any of the actual growth or any of the hormones needed or any of that sort for trans people at all. And so a lot of people were, I guess the other defensive side is that Viagra is used for way more than just a boner pill. But let's be honest, that's the main usage.
Corvo, the Empress is dead.
The better question is, what else would you use Viagra for?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if you're not getting a hard on, what are you doing with it? Are you snorting it?
But it's for a good cause.
Well, what I do know is that the military has paid a lot more for that than
That's where we go.
Getting that sweet blue powder, baby.
There was nothing
And
personal.
I guess on their side to defend against that, it's more of there's a bit more. There's a lot more people that are not trans in the military, so that expense is obviously going to be a lot higher. But at the same time, if you're gonna say, the hormones are one expense that you don't need, then guess what should be one that you don't need either. Should definitely not be Viagra.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the military paying for men's Viagra or women using Viagra for men. That seems like an expense you could forward yourself. But I can see how people would say that. How people could say that. What's it called? That the same could apply to transgender people. it's a personal issue, and you should
Hey, can I buy your ration of elixir from today?
you should pay for it yourself.
What's wrong with you?
By that extension, if these particular transgender people serve in the military, they don't get the sex change operation, and later in life, let's say they later in life they get their pension, their stipend after they retire from the military or whatever have you, and they want to have a sex change operation. Does that also include? Is that also a part of this? A part of the government or military paying for their sex change operation, or is that part of their pension of the money that they, or the money that they've received from serving the military? Would that be a line drawn right there, or would where is that particular? Where's the particular line of what am I supposed to be doing? Where is the line between the government paying for the transgender people's transformations, or the or a personal individual doing it? That's what I like.
And for, I guess, for those people that are wondering for where's the actual facts, or like where am I getting that information from? The Business Insider on July 26th, so basically 2017, so basically just 2 days ago, a 2016 study by the shows that a 2016 study by the Rand Corporation found the maximum annual medical cost for transgender services would be around $8.4 million. By comparison, though, the military spent $84 million on erectile dysfunction medications such as Viagra and Cialis. So, I mean, kind of puts that into perspective, right? And then if you want to look at it into the actual, if you want to look into the actual budget, saying that might be too much, still the 8.4 just on that. And yeah, you can say, all right, fine. Those that are on that side, you guys can forfeit that side and say, all right, fine, do away with Viagra and Cialis. Also do away with, but at the same time, do away with hormones, right? If they're willing to do that. But at the same time, if you look, from the actual military annual budget, the transgender services, it is the least amount out of all the other actual portions of the annual budget. The rest are actually, or in comparison, it's very minute. So the military budget alone is 496 trillion, most of it. And so, the military personnel, 135, and then it only goes into, and then all the way at the bottom is transgender services for 8.4 million. So again, it's, in comparison, it's truly nothing for what it actually is. You're helping out a lot of people, and that's what the military has done, right? So that's what they always say, at the end, you go into the service, at the end they do a lot for you, right? Such as insurance, what other benefits?
You get
It's stipend.
It's insurance, a military stipend. You get medical care for your spouse and or your children. You also, depending upon where you go, you may have opportunities to become better employed because you were a part of the military. You also get, different benefits of going to different stores, like where they give a military discount. I know our local theater used to, I think, well, I don't know if it still does give discounts for each of a military ID. They used to. In addition to that,
basically what we're trying to say is that there's a lot of benefits, right? And so, one of them is I think the biggest one is definitely insurance, and covering a lot of costs. And so one of the stances that they stand on is definitely, we're not going to help cover the surgeries, but we'll help with the hormones. If you're going to, it should be definitely the same thing. It follows under a lot of the insurance and a lot of that follow-up. So again, I don't see where this can be entirely wrong. I definitely think that if transgender people want to be in the military, they should definitely be allowed. That at the end, they're they're just as American as any one of us. If they're going to be fighting for us, they should totally be allowed to. There's nothing that's stopping them, or there's nothing that should stop them, I should say. Because a lot of them, especially when going through the hormones, if you take that away from them, it tends to definitely affect them. And when you say, oh well, in that case, if it affects them when they're out of the hormones, well, what's to say that another thing was definitely the mental instability, right, that they were saying. And with that, I've befriended, and I know a lot of people that are also families with a lot of transgenders, and it's not a mental disability, in my opinion. It's really not. Whether that's what it's called for, I definitely don't think that's what it is. It's definitely something, but it's not that. I don't think it's a mental disorder, and I definitely think that what we should do is also reevaluate that in itself. So for our final thoughts on this, on the decision, it's definitely, I don't think Trump's decision on this should really continue. I think that if he truly for one, when he first was actually running, he definitely said that he was going to work and support the LGBTQ community, and this would very well go against what he said when he was running. And so I definitely don't think that it should continue. I definitely think that at the end it should just be a tweet and nothing more.
That, and he talked about getting Americans jobs, and if you
at this point we would be taking away
you
jobs.
suddenly unemploy a huge percentage of a
community.
fraction of the military all of a sudden. There's also the fact that his particular political party is all gung ho about the military, even though he may have his own shifty alliances when it comes to Republican ideals or conservatism generally. But he says a whole lot of shit, but may not necessarily, as we have seen, follow through.
All right. On to our next topic, which David will so kindly bring up.
All right.
How do I feel? You and your fucking inverted.
Airplane controls, man.
We don't need that in our lives.
It's the only way
Change
to
that
play.
shit.
It's the only way to
What are
play.
you changing?
Okay.
Where is it?
It should be under controls.
Is it under invert?
Yeah, right there. All right.
Fucking invert.
Our next topic was a recent case that happened in Pakistan. It was, I believe,
Multiple.
where did I find it?
Attention. Tomorrow's execution
It was
will be restricted to the personnel assigned
Anyway,
to the event.
I believe, I can't remember where I wrote it.
Big topic for
But yes, it's essentially a Pakistani rape case that happened in Pakistan, and it involved 25 informal village members who were accused of rape after ordering a 16-year-old girl to be revenge raped after her cousin raped the opposite family's raped a 13-year-old girl of the opposite family. This is all allegedly, of course. The article does not particularly say any it doesn't have any information regarding the validation of these claims. Nevertheless, these council members have been imprisoned. The brother has been allegedly accused of rape, and 29 people were involved in the ghastly crime. They have not found 4. It was done by the Multan City Police. Oh, gotcha. This is a direct quote. 29 people were involved in this ghastly crime. This is the quote of Multan City Police Officer Asan Yunus. The crime came to light when both families filed criminal charges with police accusing the other family's son of rape. Generally in Pakistan, from what I have found, the context of this phenomenon happens a lot in South Asia, in India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh. I don't know if it happens in Bhutan or Nepal, but I know this is a very common thing there in those other particular countries. Apparently, since Pakistan's government is found to be corrupt in many respects, and you have to, lubricate the wheels with that sweet cheddar.
Alright.
If normal everyday Pakistanis have found it almost impossible to get their cases heard in court. And so they have these informal councils, they have these informal village councils with local elders presiding over them. Always men, I would assume, but I'm not entirely sure. That may be my bias coming out a little bit.
I can be stealthy?
Yeah, you can be stealthy.
Yeah, nah, I'm gonna go gun ho.
These particular councils are called jirgas or panchayats.
We are not proficient in pronunciation.
Yeah, I do not speak Pashto. If this is in Pashto or Pashtuns, forgive me, I do not speak it. But yes, due to the
Wait, is that my help?
yes, due to the cumbersome and corrupt legal system, Pakistanis have used these informal councils to deliberate on their local grievances, and in this particular case, we have revenge rape. I don't know what else to say about this, guys, because it is just really mind-boggling how the proper response in a desperate situation. Like, picture for a minute a bunch of old guys sitting in a circle, and they have this young girl who was allegedly raped, and they all decide, we should have the young girl or the cousin of the man who raped the victim or who allegedly raped the victim to be raped. That's the proper way of dealing with it right there. An eye for an eye.
I mean, that's how they've worked for a long time, which I'm not, trying to defend it. Again, the whole point is trying to be devil's advocate on both sides, and there's going to be times where there's just going to be no way to be a devil's advocate for all of them, right? But, I'll definitely try, I guess, to say the least. And, in that culture, that's definitely the way to go. Basically, like I said, an eye for an eye. Whatever.
It also has to do with the honor culture. I know that it's big in the subcontinent, especially when it comes to particular
Stupid cut.
let's say, for example, a Pakistani woman may marry a Christian white man or something like that. I know that in some cases, some men have been verbally abused by their Pakistani peers because of their sister's decision, and honor killings have come about as a result of these particular measures. But
I've heard similar news about this, but not the same, obviously, but more of with what is it? But more with like acid throwing. They've done the exact same thing. And, you have acid thrown at your face, same thing. So when you hear it that way, it's like good. Like that's what he deserves. But at the same time, now when you hear it in this instance, it sounds a bit different, right?
I always wondered that, why didn't they rape the dude? Huh? I always wondered, why don't they rape the dude? Or have the dude killed. I mean, there's a whole gaggle of these old guys apparently just, handing out rape sentences and shit. Might as well. Let's go get that guy. But I don't know, man. It really makes you think about how different people view justice. I guess you can say. Because I know the Judeo-Christian idea, you know, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth and stuff like that. But in all cases, that doesn't necessarily.
It's not correct, you know.
It's not applicable in every particular instance, and it just perpetuates more and more conflict. I mean, in this particular case, the young girl, 13-year-old girl who was raped, or who was allegedly raped. Her family, both families went to the police in spite of the informal counsel, and both girls have been sent to I believe it is a woman's shelter in Pakistan. Both of their, with their mothers as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a women's shelter essentially to protect them. But you know,
so they're no longer with their actual.
They're no longer with their families.
And this is basically their decision to basically say, "We will." It's to keep you safe, we promise. But at the end, it might be doing more harm than good.
Yeah. Essentially, but it just makes me think, man. You know, I know it's big that that you know, virginity is a very, very big thing in the Muslim community. Well, it's basically a big thing in every community, really. But you know, I don't see how this is a. I don't know. I don't think I did it, but yeah, I don't see how this is a valid way of compensation for the alleged raping of this 13-year-old girl.
Now you've been saying alleged this entire time, and that's because they actually never found out.
Yeah, we do not. I have not found definite proof of the.
Don't let them do the thing.
They're probably gonna eat you, but I couldn't find proof of where. The alleged rapist was actually found to be at fault here. I don't know. The article doesn't say if he raped a woman or not. All it says is that all it has for the man who raped the 13-year-old girl is alleged, and that's it. There is no. I don't know how everything. I don't know if they do the same process as we do here in the States. In India, where you go through DNA analysis, where you check. Where you
here you go, Red.
Check the body, check the girl, check for semen and things like this. I don't know, but essentially, it's an alleged rape. It's an alleged rape case, and if he did commit the crime, yeah, he deserves to be punished. He deserves to be either put in jail or whatever crime or whatever punishment India gives to him for rapists. That should be his crime, but. For an alleged rape to have another girl raped of the alleged rapist's family, it just doesn't make sense. You would think that they would, and even in I find it very strange that people, or the article says that generally Pakistan's government doesn't move quickly on these cases and has a history of being corrupt, and its legal system is very how do you say? It's very cumbersome and unfavorable to fast action. But I found that in any particular case, these people chose to go to the court instead after having the informal counsel. I guess when the decision happened unfavorably, so. They thought it was a good idea at first. Then after shit hit the fan, they suddenly said that this isn't right anymore. And then they went to the Pakistani court, and then they had the guys arrested. The former counsel arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't know what to say the least. I'm very. Okay. That's something that I don't necessarily know what to say on. It's a culture that I'm not a part of. Not only that, but I mean, I don't necessarily, because it is alleged. You don't have all the information. that a tripwire?
Is it?
Oh
Ooh.
shit! Eat that rotten mango. Anyways, fucking cannon. Fuck was that thing? Loot. What I was saying was, I mean, I just don't have enough information to truly know what to do in this situation. You know, like I'm not part of the culture, so I don't think I can actually speak much on it besides my view, which is, you know, because of what I think, because of the way my culture. Fuck this shit. I see you, bitch. Not today. Not today. But because of the way, you know, everything kind of functions, I don't think that. I don't see it as right, obviously, you know. At the end, I definitely think that the person that should be punished is the guy who allegedly raped. If he is found guilty, regardless of, you know, if they found enough information, at the end did they find him guilty, right?
Yes.
And which I guess they did, but at the end, that girl has done nothing wrong.
Yep.
She should. The girl that from that other family, she hasn't done anything. She shouldn't be held accountable for what is it, brothers or
Her cousins.
Her cousin's actions. Ooh, what the fuck? Hell yeah. You know, at that point, you should definitely respect it a lot more. I think that they should definitely take a different stance on what is happening, and at least reevaluate that. You know, maybe even though, you know, he should be held accountable, we should do something other than punish someone else that's in his family because they are innocent. And at the end, all you did was, instead of have one girl that got raped, you basically have two.
Yeah.
And
Not only did she get raped, she got gang raped too.
yeah, so I guess the other issue at that hand is more of, is that a reason to at the end, is that a reason to actually, you know, what necessarily, I guess what I'm trying to say is, what necessarily makes that, oh shit, there's a code.
Yep.
What necessarily makes that into what makes that into a legal case, basically? Like, that girl got raped, and we obviously see that, you know, the offense for raping is definitely having someone else raped, but at the end, you should have another girl raped. So that means, isn't that another offense that you know, that the government itself committed, or was it someone's specific actions? You know, who's here at fault, basically? I think if you go the route that they're currently going, you basically have an endless loop of harm, I guess I should say. So
Vendetta.
yeah, I think there's a better way to go about it, but that's purely my view on it. Oh, it didn't trigger. I don't know the fucking combo. Wait from this. In case you're daft to remember, look to your whiskey for the answer. Whiskey, got it. If you want your share, you'll sort it out.
Whiskey.
Is there like a whiskey bottle that I should look at?
Maybe. But yeah.
So that's my view on it. But I guess that's my final thoughts, I should say. Anything you got to go about it, Dave?
Well,
your final thoughts?
I don't. I think I got everything. I can't. It's a sad day for both of these young women
And their families. And don't forget,
yeah.
you know, the mother has to basically be pulled into it too.
Yeah, and it's even sadder for them as well.
Would
I
be
can only
the
imagine. I can only imagine what a father, how powerless both of their fathers would feel at knowing that their daughters were subjected to this kind of treatment, and not just this type of treatment, but treatment by their own people. You know, I know you would think there would be more solidarity in this regard, but it seems that cooler heads did not prevail this time. So, yeah.
Alright, well, on to the very last topic, which I'll hand the controller back to David, which is run and slide to go under.
Inverted.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's
It
the
is.
average human that does this.
No, what are you talking about?
No one thinks, oh hey, I'm a pilot in my own head, and so I want everything to act as such. You got shot at.
Yep, I sure did.
No, I didn't just take it.
No.
Anyways, I guess you're not gonna try to look the common name.
You said whiskey, right?
Yeah, but
Whiskey.
I don't necessarily know. I think we might have missed something, where it's like whiskey might have meant something, like, or there might have been a whiskey bottle that the code has it on. I don't know, but again, I think we missed it for sure.
Whiskey.
Oh shit! There's a lot of bottles, David. Maybe there's nothing on it, but the sign maybe that says whiskey on the sign.
You don't see that 451?
Ah shit. Well, there you go. Turn yeah.
Oh, moving on.
See, that was close.
We get the money.
You're arrested.
Money,
Ooh,
money, money,
that's
money.
it. That's all you get.
Oh, and I fell.
You gotta jump up.
Apparently not. I'm uncoordinated.
So the last one, basically, is we can talk about, I guess, more U.S. news, which is very, I guess, it's gonna be snowballing just because, I mean, one, we're in the U.S., so it's gonna, that's the one thing that we're gonna be worried about, and so there's gonna be a kind of a small bias towards it. But at the same time, it's more of, with this administration, so much is happening that it makes it difficult for it to not be on the news and continue to be on the news. And so we might go with that one, or do you want to go with Britain's labor rate, which is very math focused? The labor rate, maybe it's like a cap, and it's a lot of math and actual studying that I have not done. So I think
We'll do that next time.
yeah. Or there's two current topics that we can talk about, I guess, and we'll kind of split those two instead of 20-minute speeches into 10 minutes each to kind of, I guess, get them both because they're both U.S. focused. And surprise, you get 4 instead of 3. Congratulations. One of them, the first one is more of Governor Sam Brownback is to be the religious ambassador to the U.S. Now, when you first hear that name, you don't really think of much, right? Well, for one, let me just state that he's Kansas. He's the governor of Kansas, so there's not much going on there, But regardless, he actually he left the state in disarray economically wise. That means Kansas economy it's in the shitter, like it is.
Yeah, he was the Reaganomics guy, right?
I believe so, yes.
Always that goddamn Reaganomics.
Now, from the New York Times, it's definitely showing that, his views are what make it very, very interesting that he's going to be the religious ambassador for the U.S. And the reason being is because, you know, when you're called the religious ambassador for the U.S., that position is meant to someone who's willing to fight for religious freedom for everyone. The key issue here, though, is that, you know, he's one of Trump's. You know, like he's one of his own. And with that comes very conservative views. And it makes it very interesting to see exactly what he's gonna do, because that's kind of part of the news, is that it just happened, so you don't necessarily know what's going to occur with that, right? It's more of, well, you know what his views are. We know that there's going to be a news conference on next Thursday to basically kind of, or to talk more about it, to kind of push and see what necessarily is going to kind of continue on about this. It's just very interesting for me to see, you know, me being a Mexican Jew. Yeah, surprising. Surprise, everyone!
Yes, he's the one, the only, the Mexican Jew.
Yes. There's an X and a W in that one of those two words. Very, very interesting. But, you know, and the U.S. obviously pushing for a lot of Christianity. It makes it very difficult, you know, not just for me, but for the millions of people that are here that don't account for themselves as Christian.
I'm Samuel.
So
They're just spiritual.
We don't get them out here.
I don't believe
I'll take
in
you to
organized religion, but I'm spiritual.
just down the river from here.
Very spiritual. Continue.
So basically, he's stepping down as being Kansas's governor for now, but it's not. You know, he's leaving it in disarray. He doesn't want to really fund the public education system, and
What a surprise! A Republican not wanting to fund fucking education.
yeah. So you know, the way he's leaving Kansas is definitely in disarray. We're just hoping that, you know, the next governor of Kansas makes it better, which they already said that it's going to be
This is the Halifax pub.
Lieutenant
Closed
Governor
after
Jeff Collier.
Dead from
Collier.
Yes.
right under the
He's a
road.
doctor from suburban Kansas City who previously served in the state legislature. So here's hoping that, you know, he can at least provide some change.
Or he's at least competent.
Yeah, at least benefit the economy of Kansas. You know, if they're going to stay Republican and conservative, that's fine. But at least help your people. You know, at the end, that's what really should matter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes small government isn't the most best thing in cutting taxes.
Lady Emily.
Yeah.
No one likes paying taxes, but they're what keep the fucking roads built and what keep people educated. I mean, think about it. If you cut taxes on if you lower spending on education, you're gonna have a lot of dumbass people. And when your dumbass gets old, you're gonna need those dumbasses to take care of you. Now, do you want a dumbass holding the needle when you need that injection that you get, let's say, for morphine or for let's say he's holding a let's say you have cataracts and they're gonna take out your eye lens in your eye. Do you really want that guy to be a dumbass? I mean, come on, guys. Come on.
The answer is no.
It's one thing to not want higher taxes. That's one thing. It's another thing to just be completely dogmatic in your view that you are not willing to compromise in any respect your particular ideals. Hell, even I, in certain cases, am willing to compromise. I'm not gonna like it, but I'm willing to compromise in some respects to get what I want or to get the people what they need at the end of the day. It's not all about political posturing and, you know, seeing whose dick is bigger.
We're going to come out.
It's mine.
Building a coalition of lawyers.
It's about actually serving your people. That's what they elect you for. They don't elect you to run the country, to run your particular state into the ground because you you wanna fund this Reaganomics crap that we know doesn't work and we've seen doesn't work.
We need your
It only allows rich people to get off better than poor people, and to allow them to have more control over the government by being able to lobby and pour money into the political system so that they can have even more money and even more power. I mean, it's a revolving door. It's like when you get out of prison, you go right back in because you don't have the capabilities or you don't have the education to find a job anywhere else.